No matter what you do, there's always change. So you got to be flexible and you got to be willing to take that on. And you've got to know that nothing's ever finished, because if everything's finished, so are you. I mean, then you're done, right? You got to work like it's your business, but you can't pretend it's your business.
Belief in the company that you work for and the mission that you're doing. Choices, here and there, but I believe in the direction that we're going.
Right. You aren't anywhere for 18 years if you don't believe in what they're doing. I mean, I don't know how you could be. I couldn't be. You have to believe in what you do, right? And if you believe in what you do or what you're doing, people will follow, right? You got to be you every day.
Welcome to the Paradigm Industry Insiders podcast, where real people share real stories about what's happening with doors, windows, millwork, and life. I'm John Wheeler, and along with my co-hosts, we sit down with your peers who are moving our industry forward. These are honest conversations packed with practical insights and lessons you can take and bring value to your team. Here's today's conversation. Welcome to the Paradigm Industry Insiders podcast, where we share the stories of the people and the products and the technology of the door and window industry. I'm joined today by Steve from Hoff Companies. Steve, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Steve Salisbury, Hoff Companies, Western Window, Nampa, Idaho.
We've known each other for a couple years. I think we have a lot of similarities to your current role and things that I've done in the past, but also kind of now, right? Wearing multiple hats. The industry is really full of Swiss Army knives, and that's how I would describe you, doing all sorts of things. Describe to me or tell me about how your role has evolved over the years and kind of the journey you took from.
I have an accounting degree from Boise State University, so that set me up. Late 1990s. I started working for a software company called Produce, and I became support and implementation manager. And I did several implementations going out and around. Before I left that company, Hoff acquired it. And one of the guys from Hoff became our general manager. Then I left to work for a customer in Las Vegas for 3 years. Got out of there as quick as I could.
Didn't care for Las Vegas?
Well, it was fine, but it worked for what we needed. But it wasn't going to be good to bring up children. So anyway, we moved back, and I opened up my own business. I actually had a self-serve dog wash business. It was going fine. And then one day, the owner of Hoff, he and his wife brought their dog in to wash, and I recognized him. And I just asked if Leon Brookett's still working there. He said, "Oh, yeah." And so I said, "Just say hi to him for me." He said, "Okay, that's good." And then about 4 years later, I got a phone call to come work for them. They were implementing their new ERP system, web-based ERP system. So they wanted me to come back and help with that, knowing that I'd done implementations. So I decided to come back. And since then, it evolved to, I did the implementation, I did hardware, I did software, I was in charge of phones, I was in charge of internet. So I did 3 implementations simultaneously for the software. Worked with that. Then, 2 years ago, they sold the Trimco's, and I helped the company that bought it. I helped them get everything switched over to them, and so I've been on both sides of that. So then I went over to Western to work with on the vinyl plant to just kind of help with procedures and policies and whatever, and see how I could help out. And then it became apparent that we needed new software. I helped gather different people to come and talk to, and Paradigm was one. And we chose Paradigm, and been going down that road. We're done with our implementation of our Omni side, so now we're looking forward to the Nexus going.
Awesome. Yeah. So one of the things that you talked about, the owner of Hoff came into the dog wash thing, and it was 4 years after that, but you had a previous relationship with them. One of the things that I think makes this industry special is it's almost like a family vibe, right? You got the relationships that you make matter, and that's with your customers, that's with your suppliers, that's with people that you might compete and cooperate with. Talk about the relationships that you've built and been a part of in the industry.
Yeah, well, when I was doing implementations, I went all over the country and hell and back. And it was, it was good. It was, you meet a lot of different people. But I found that when I went and did those, I went by myself, and in the evenings they would just all go home, and I'd just be at the hotel. And one time in Galveston, Texas, the owner, he was getting ready to go home. He said, "You're at the hotel, right?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, when you get back, get your food on the way back, go in the door, lock the door, and don't open it until you're leaving the next day. Anybody knocks on that door, don't answer it." Because I was a mile away from the border. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's comforting for tonight. That'll make me sleep well. Thank you." But I just found that it is about relationships, and I tried to get to know people, more personally than just going and doing their software and then leaving. I like to get to know them and their people. So, like when you guys came and we did the discovery, there was a team of 7 of you, I think, at the time. And then there was 5 of us from our office, and I just invited everybody over for the barbecue. And
your house.
Yeah, my house, my backyard. We had barbecue, we had some beer, and we got a little bar there. And I just thought that was great to get to know people away from the job. Yeah. Right. And get to know really about them and about their families. And I just think you can talk a little easier that way. And rather than go to eat, I just thought we'd, just do it at the house. And then when they came back for the Nexus discovery, we did it again.
That's the one I was a part of.
Oh yeah, you came the second time. That's right. And so I asked them if they want to do it again. They said sure. So it was it's great to see the area, and I know they want to go and look around, but just one evening over at the house to get to know each other, and I think it helps break a couple of barriers. You get to know each other better, and I think if you know somebody better, you can it's a better working relationship.
I think you care more also, right? Because it's on a whole other level. And I was telling the group, not that they didn't know this, but we're driving to your house, and it wasn't the shortest drive, but we're driving out to your house, through the farmland and stuff. And I was like, there's not a better industry than this one, right? What other industry have you ever been a part of where somebody invited you to a barbecue or like fajitas in their backyard, and we show up, and Charlie's driving his like old F-150, whatever that thing is.
But yes, F-150 truck, yeah.
And I'm all excited to talk dirt bikes with him because there's a 5-gallon like race can in the back of the thing, and I'm like, "Hey, tell me about what are you riding out there?" He's like, "Oh no, the gas gauge in my truck is broken."
I have to get.
And so I got the can in the back just in case, and I'm like, "Your last name's Hoff. Like, what are you talking about, dude?"
That's the way
such a great thing. Like, we're having beers and fajitas in your backyard with your wife and dogs, and like gas can in the back of Charlie's truck. It doesn't get better than that. It's not just about the transactions and things.
Yeah, you just get to know people, and you can have a little better relationship, I think.
You think of, if I go to Hoff Companies' website, not the Western or any of the other ones, but like Hoff Companies, and you look at that history. You've been around Hoff for a long time. Talk about the history and the market and the different businesses and evolutions that they've done in their past, and then kind of talk a little bit about the future and what you're excited about.
So they started in 1910 with a sawmill, and they've had a couple different sawmills, I believe, and then it evolved to making their own millwork. And so that's where Trimco Millwork came from. And they would sell their own millwork. And then, as the industry changed and you could almost buy it cheaper and you could cut it down and make it yourself. So they just went into that. And so they had Trimco Millworks for several years. I was, heavily involved in the software side for that and support. And I would go out to the different locations, quarterly. So I'd go out to Salt Lake and Denver twice a year, and just got to know those people. And the industry started after COVID. I think it kind of got squeezed a little bit, and the littler companies, I feel like it got to a point where you had to grow or die. I think. I don't know that Trimco would have ever really died, but it was if you didn't grow, you were kind of stagnant. And not So they looked to sell it, and which kind of surprised me, but they did, and it sold. Wood Grain bought it, and I helped them for a year to get out of that. And then now with the windows, we're trying to ramp up the window plant with, they've invested a lot of money over there. They have a lot of new equipment. Very exciting with the new equipment, a lot of new people and new software. We're going to hit the ground running one of these days, and hopefully
and that new building too.
Yeah,
Double the size.
Yeah,
is that right?
double the size of the building. So it's a big building. We got several different glass lines, and so so we're going to try to ramp up the daily count there and get those sold and get them out the door and get Western windows across the West.
Cool. And it's one of those, I had a couple other conversations earlier this week where you talk about, and you're certainly a result of this, I think, is I can't gets replaced by I can't yet. Because we need a new phone system. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with that, but
yeah. So it all just kind of fell in my lap. With the several different locations. At one time, we had 5 different locations, and when I took over, everybody had their own phone contract and internet contract, and I just thought this, just trying to keep track of them and knowing who to call when something was down, it just got to be pain. I just said, you know what? I'm going to bring them all together. Brought them all together into one contract for the phone, one contract for the internet, and just tried to get it, somewhere I could control it a little bit as far as costs and just knowing how to maintain it. And then not too long ago, we went to the complete company-wide. We went with a VoIP phone system and got that implemented. And it just kind of. Yeah, things just fell in my lap and said, it's
you kept saying
what are we going to do here? I said, well, I don't know. We'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah.
And we did. So it's been good.
Seems like you never say no to anything. Just say this is a how high kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of old school, so I guess if my boss says that's what we're going to do, then that's what we do, and we make it work.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah, so it's not always my decision, but it is what it is. The previous software we had, when it was chosen 9 years ago, wasn't necessarily my choice, but I was outvoted by the CFO and the general manager at the time, which is fine. They went with one they thought, and then eventually, now here we are getting out of that and into a new one. So
it's cool though, because a lot of people get their feelings hurt if they're not involved in the decision. Or, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to, I'm not, maybe not in it with both feet, but talking to our team, talking about you, and I think you're behind the scenes, you'll never take credit for any of that sort of stuff. But I think, you kind of jump in with both feet and just do it. If I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to do this.
If you're going to do it,
right.
You might as well do it right. I mean, I'm not one to do anything half-ass. If you're going to do it, you got to have some pride and just do it. And like I said, you're not going to agree with every decision ever made.
Yeah.
But it's not my company to make the decisions. So my job is to do whatever I get asked to do. So whatever that is, that's what it is. And the day I don't like what it is, then I do something different, I guess. Right. So.
Yep.
But until then, I go to work every day and make it the best day it can be. And some days are better than others, but that's the way it goes.
I think you're in the twilight of your career. Not calling you old. I would never do that. But
I will.
You got, you have guys like Jesse, kind of your right hand guy. He's here at the show with you. He's going to be coming up and filling shoes, and at other companies, people are filling those shoes as people are retiring. What do you see as the biggest challenge, or what skills do those people like Jesse need that are going to kind of come in and be the new guard?
For me, it's been about, relationships, right? It's about being flexible, because there's always going to be change. No matter what you do, there's always change. Just after you get new software, then it changes, right? Something changes. So you got to be flexible, and you got to be willing to take that on. And you've got to know that nothing's ever finished. Because if everything's finished, so are you. I mean, then you're done, right?
Yep.
I mean, you don't need anything else, then you're done.
Yep.
So flexibility, being able to schedule things and keeping things organized, I think is a huge thing.
one of the hardest ones.
Yeah, it's not easy, and I haven't managed a lot of people, but I just try to be a good example, and I think Jesse's picking up, and I've got some great help. He knows it better than I do. He knows the window business better than I. He's been in it 20 years, so
yeah.
I mean, they're in good hands, and it's one of those things that I keep telling them. I said, we're going to make this software so good that you won't need me, right? You don't need me anymore, and we'll see if that happens. But yeah, just flexibility, being a Gumby, right? You gotta be a Gumby. You gotta be flexible in all different ways. You gotta bite your lip sometimes. You gotta just do what they say, and then some days you can grumble when they turn their back or whatever, but you still got to do it.
Right.
And so it just, you can't try to pretend. You got to work like it's your business, but you can't pretend it's your business.
That's interesting. Work like it's your business, because that also is. I've heard you say the belief in the company that you work for and the mission that you're doing. Choices, here and there, you're going kind of a little bit like this, but I believe in the direction that we're going.
Right. Yeah. And you have to. I mean, I think you aren't anywhere for 18 years or 20 years if you don't believe in what they're doing. I mean, I don't know how you could be. I couldn't be. So, yeah. I mean, it's just Hoff has gone along a lot of different directions, and they're in real estate. We're in agriculture or forestry, and so they've done some subdivision development. They buy commercial buildings, so they're doing they're doing what businesses do, and they evolve, right? Because if you don't, you die. So they're doing what they can, and they're big investment at the Western Window, and I want to be part of that, and I want to get it to grow and see what happens after that. But
so you can go drive your car and ride your bicycles around.
Yeah, now I can go do
make
what
some
I
more
do.
craft beers.
Yeah, drink some more craft beer and drive the car and motorcycle and have a good day.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that you said a couple things. It's the determination to get things done. There's always going to be change, being flexible. Gumby is a thing for anyone that's younger. You're going to have to Google what that is.
Google the green Gumby guy.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to land for anyone.
He's with Pokey.
That's any younger than I am. But I think one of the things that you've said is learn how others operate, whether that's your team, your customers, or whatever.
Right.
Like learning how other people operate, so that you can be a team to do all the things that you talked about with accomplishing the mission. Leading by example is one thing that you mentioned, but what other advice would you have for listening to people, taking their things, but also trying to get things done?
Well, I think, like I said, you have to believe in what you do, right? And if you believe in what you do or what you're doing, I think your personality, how you act, people will follow, right? Or yeah, I think you just gotta be you every day, right? You can't be one guy one day and a different guy the next day. I don't think that works. And I think you want to be, everybody's got quirks, and I've definitely got them, but people know me, right? Yeah. And I don't put up a facade, and I am who I am, and I'm like this at work, and I'm like this when we're out having beer. I don't change. Probably why I don't own a company. I'm not a CEO, but it's all good. It's okay.
That's why I was giggling. One of the things, this has been a challenge for me to be on this side of this chair, whatever you want to say. But it's giving context is funny, but you nailed it, because you are the same person, and you never have to guess what Steve is thinking, because if something doesn't smell right, you're going to say it instantly. Yeah,
I mean, I've learned that, and I guess that's part of getting older and being grumpy, right?
Yeah.
Is you tend to call BS what BS is, right? And you're just like, whatever, and you've learned that it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter. It is what it is, and it's just noise. Yeah. If it does matter to you, then you do something about it, right? But in business, there's a lot of give and take. I mean, nothing's perfect. There's no perfect job. Yours is probably close, but there's no perfect job. And, it's just, you know, I like what I do, or I wouldn't have done it for 18 years. Right? There are days that I don't, but that would be true if I was president of the United States too.
That's not a job I would ever want. That's too many people.
That's probably a reach too.
Cool. Well, Steve, I appreciate it. You know, I can't wait to get some more Steve-isms and see how everything continues. So thanks for being on. Yeah, it's good to be back. So, you know, we fly back, and so hopefully, you know, when you're on an airplane, one thing to remember is it doesn't have to be your day. As long as it's not the pilot's day, you're okay. Right? That's a perfect Steve-ism. So yeah, I mean, it might not be my day, but if it's a pilot's, I picked the wrong pilot. You don't want to be on. You don't want to be on that one. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we look forward to working with the team and getting it done. Can't wait to see the end product. That we can finally retire. Yeah. Cool. Someday. All right. Well, thanks again. Yeah. See y'all. Thank you. Thanks for joining us on the Paradigm Industry Insiders podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platforms and follow Paradigm on LinkedIn and YouTube to catch more stories, insights, and ideas from your peers across our industry. See y'all.